Just a couple weeks ago, Purdue was 9-6, 2-2 in the Big Ten, playing like a fringe NCAA tourney team. But since going into Madison and winning in OT, the Boilers have caught fire. 4 straight victories now, 3 of them against teams that are in the tourney picture. Now with first place Michigan State coming to West Lafayette Sunday, the Boilers with a golden opportunity to insert themselves into the conversation at the very top of the league. And we are pleased to be joined now from our studio in West Lafayette by Purdue's Ryan Cline. And Ryan, let's start with this team. 4 in a row now. Where have you seen the biggest improvement over these last couple of weeks?
I mean, personally, I feel like we're playing for each other. You know, it's at the beginning of the year we had a lot of close games that came down to the wire, and we didn't quite scrap at the end and pull those wins out. But I think we're playing for each other now.
One thing that's really stood out to me has been the play of Travion Williams. I think he's changed your team dramatically here over the last few weeks. Did you guys see this coming in practice? Because I think for people, the outside observers, it's kind of out of nowhere.
Yeah, he was doing really well in practice, and I mean the guy can really rebound. He was really testing Matt, and he took advantage of his chances.
Carson Edwards gets so many headlines for you guys. How have you seen his game evolve here during this winning streak?
Well, I honestly feel like he's not quite rushing into it. I think he's letting the game come to him, and once he does that, I mean the sky's the limit. He's just a natural scorer, and sometimes I sit back and I just watch and observe, and I'm just like, wow.
What's the most memorable moment you've observed from Carson, whether it be in practice or in a game?
Well, I mean, shoot, I feel like every game is memorable, especially when he's putting up. I remember last year at Illinois, he went down the lane, he just rose up and dunked it, and I just looked over at I remember I was sitting on the bench. I looked down the bench, and I'm just like, did he really just do that? It was insane.
That was a totally different team, of course. Last year, you had so many veterans. This is a much younger group. We mentioned Travion Williams, but there have been several other young guys who have really stepped up and contributed here over the last couple of weeks. What's been the key to getting those guys to this point?
Well, I'd say, the non-conference that we had and how challenging it was good for them, just because, they got that experience and, kind of the taste of losing, I guess. But now that, we've strung a couple out in a row, it's been good for us, and I know the younger guys are stepping up and they're having fun.
How has your role changed? I mean, you guys lost more than 5,000 career points off of this team from last year. I think you were seen last season as a really good complementary player, and now you're seen as a primary option. How does that change things mentality-wise for you?
I feel like, from a leadership standpoint, it's a lot different, going into practice and just realizing that you're the guy, and, there's a lot of younger guys that look up to you, and, you just got to try to do your best to do everything right.
Coach Painter's been telling me for a couple of years that you are one of the tougher guys on this team. Fill people in on your double root canal.
So we were actually in practice, and I was supposed to go around Aaron, and we got mixed up on the play, and I ran into his shoulder, and I kind of looked down at the ground, and I feel my teeth with my tongue, and they're completely cracked, and I push them back up and back into place, and just got blood rushing all out of my mouth, and I actually just found out I got to get a fake one here soon, so that's going to be interesting.
All right. Did you continue practicing, or did you stop at that point?
Well, I came back and shot free throws. I put a mouth guard in, and I had to wear that all night. So it was definitely uncomfortable, that's for sure.
You guys are coming off a win against Ohio State. As a lot of Big Ten people know, certainly people as old as Jess and me, Ben might not know, your dad, Michael, played at OSU. Is there a little extra incentive there in that game?
Yeah, I mean, I think a little. I grew up going to Ohio State games with my dad, and he was kind of the guy that raised me to love basketball, and it was actually nice. After I made my last free throw, I looked over at him and gave him a little fist pump. It was a pretty cool moment.
You talking smack to him? I mean, does he have divided loyalties, or is he squarely on your side at this point?
No, he's on my side. I told him he's only got a couple more months, and then you can put that ugly red back on.
Let's talk about this game coming up on Sunday. All three of us are really fired up. I think it's one of the marquee games of the year in the Big Ten. What's the biggest challenge for you guys against Michigan State?
I feel like, stopping Cassius Winston in transition. I mean, sometimes it's not even in transition. We get a made bucket and they're already out of the gates. Being able to stop him and contain him is going to be big. I know their big guys are working in there all the time. They got a couple tosses in there, and it's going to be a challenge, but I feel like Mackey's going to be rocking, and I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, before I let you go, I absolutely love going to games at Mackey Arena. I think it's one of the great arenas, not just in the Big Ten, but in all of college basketball. The students are such a huge part of that. The paint crew is just awesome. If you could describe what it is to run out on that court and see that student section, give us a sense of how that feels.
Oh, I mean, it's awesome, walking out during that IU game and just seeing, you look forward and it's just a sea of students just ready to cheer us on. And, it's a completely different environment when you're at home, and especially at Mackey. I mean, like you said, I think it's one of the top environments in college basketball, and it's definitely going to be major on Sunday.
It will indeed. Ryan Cline, really a pleasure to talk to you. Thanks so much. Best of luck Sunday, and appreciate you taking the time.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.